AITA for pretending to be an Appletarian, eating only apple-derived food/drinks for 3 weeks as a prank, causing my friend to stage an intervention. All right, Reddit, I need your help settling this because I'm genuinely confused about whether I'm a jerk here. I, 25M, pulled what I thought was an epic prank on my friend group by pretending to be an Appletarian, someone who only eats apple-based foods and drinks apple juice or cider for 3 weeks straight. I thought it was hilarious, and I was super committed to the bit, but it ended with my friends staging an actual intervention, my girlfriend dumping me, and everyone being pissed off. I still think the prank was solid, but they're acting like I crossed some major line, so, aita? For context, I've always been the funny guy in my friend group. We're a tight-knit crew of 7. Me, my now ex-girlfriend Sarah, 24F, my best friend Jake, 26M, his girlfriend Mia, 25F, and our other friends Alex, 25M, Tara, 24F, and Ryan, 26M. We've known each other since college, and we hang out at least once or twice a week, usually for game nights, bar trivia, or just chilling at someone's apartment. I'm known for pulling pranks, but nothing too wild. Just stuff like putting googly eyes on all of Jake's kitchen appliances or convincing Tara her car got towed when I just parked it around the corner. Everyone usually laughs, and it's never been a big deal. So, when I got the idea for the Appletarian prank, I figured it'd be another classic in my repertoire. The idea hit me about a month ago when I was scrolling X and saw some posts about weird diets, like people who only eat raw meat or whatever. I jokingly told Jake over text, "What if I only ate apples? Bet I'd be shredded." He laughed and said I'd probably die of malnutrition, and that planted the seed. I thought, what if I pretended to go full apple mode and freaked everyone out? I love a good long con prank, and I figured if I stuck with it for a few weeks, it'd be legendary. Plus, I'm a bit of a health nut, so I knew I could sneak real food on the side and not actually starve myself. I kicked things off by casually dropping in our group chat. I sent a link to some sketchy-looking blog. I made sure it wasn't too legit, claiming that an apple-only diet was the ultimate health hack, detoxes your body, boosts energy, all that nonsense. I typed, "Guys, I'm thinking of trying this Appletarian thing. It's supposed to be insane for your health." Sarah immediately replied, "Oh, Mayo, you're joking, right?" And Alex chimed in with, "Bro, you'll get scurvy or some shit." I doubled down, saying I'd read studies. I didn't link any, obviously, and that I was starting the next day. They all thought I was messing around, which was perfect. Step 1 of a good prank is making them underestimate you. The next day, I showed up at trivia night at our usual bar with a Tupperware of diced apples and a bottle of apple juice. When the waiter came around, I said, "Nah, I'm good. I brought my own food. I'm an Appletarian now." Jake snorted and said, "You're actually doing this? For real?" I just shrugged and said, "Yeah, it's been one day, but I feel amazing already." I munched on my apples while everyone else ordered wings and burgers, and I could tell they were half amused, half weirded out. Sarah kept giving me side-eye, but didn't say much. She's usually pretty chill about my antics. To sell the prank, I got super committed. Whenever I was around any of them, or even mutual acquaintances like coworkers or friends of friends, I only ate apple-based stuff. Whole apples, applesauce, baked apples, the filling from apple pies, I'd scrape off the crust, even candy apples where I'd shave off the candy coating with a knife. I carried a reusable bottle of apple cider everywhere, and I'd take dramatic sips while saying stuff like, "This is the nectar of life, man." At work, I'd sit in the break room chomping on apples while my coworker Dave asked if I was okay mentally. I'd just laugh and say, "Never been better. You should try it." The key was making sure they never saw me eat anything else. If I was hungry, I'd sneak a protein bar or a burrito when I was alone, like in my car or at home before meeting up with them. I live alone, so it was easy to cook normal meals without anyone knowing. I even avoided posting food pics on social media, which was honestly the hardest part because I made some fire stir-fry one night and wanted to flex. But I stayed disciplined. This prank was my masterpiece. After about a week, they started buying it. At first, they'd tease me. Like Mia would offer me a slice of pizza and say, "Come on, live a little." But when I kept refusing and pulling out my apples, the teasing turned into concern. Tara sent me a long text about how restrictive diets can mess up your body, complete with a WebMD link about nutrient deficiencies. Ryan, who's super into fitness, cornered me at the gym and gave me a lecture about how I was tanking my macros and probably losing muscle mass. I played dumb, saying, "But apples have carbs, right? And vitamins." I could tell he wanted to strangle me, which only made it funnier. Sarah was the first to get legit annoyed. We've been dating for about a year, and she's usually cool with my sense of humor, but she started getting snappy. One night, we went to this fancy Italian place for a date, and I told the waiter I couldn't eat anything on the menu because I was an Appletarian. I asked if they had plain apples or maybe some applesauce. The waiter looked so confused, and Sarah's face turned red. She whispered, "Can you stop? This is embarrassing." I thought she was just playing along, so I leaned into it, saying loudly, "Babe, it's about my health." She barely spoke to me for the rest of the night, and when I dropped her off, she said, "This apple thing is getting old. Just eat normal food." I brushed it off, thinking she'd laugh once I revealed the prank. By week 2, the group chat was blowing up. Jake sent a meme of a skeleton holding an apple with the caption, "You in a month." Mia tagged me in a post on X about dangerous fad diets. Alex straight up called me and said, "Dude, we're worried. This isn't funny anymore. You look pale." I didn't, I was just tired from a late night. I kept the act going, saying stuff like, "I've never felt more alive. My body's in apple harmony." I was cracking up internally because they were so invested. I figured I'd keep it going for one more week, then drop the bomb and we'd all laugh about it. But things escalated faster than I expected. Tara started texting me privately, saying she'd read about orthorexia and was worried I had an eating disorder. Ryan offered to meal prep for me to ease me back into normal food. Even my boss at work pulled me aside and asked if I was going through something. I was tempted to break character, but I was so close to the 3-week mark, and I wanted the payoff to be huge. I started planning how I'd reveal it. Maybe I'd show up to game night with a pizza and be like, "Surprise, I'm normal." But I didn't get the chance to do it my way. Last Friday, Jake texted me saying they were hosting a movie night at his place, and I had to come. I showed up with my trusty bottle of apple cider and a bag of sliced apples, ready to keep the bit going. But when I walked in, everyone was sitting in a circle, looking dead serious. No snacks, no drinks, just them staring at me like I was about to confess to a crime. Sarah wouldn't even make eye contact. Jake cleared his throat and said, "We need to talk about your diet." I thought he was joking at first, so I laughed and said, "What? You jealous of my apple glow?" But then Mia handed me a printed out article about malnutrition, and Tara started tearing up, saying, "We're scared you're hurting yourself." I realized they'd staged an actual intervention, like they thought I was spiraling into some health crisis. I tried to keep a straight face, but the absurdity hit me, and I started laughing hysterically. They looked so confused, so I finally spilled the beans. "Guys, it's a prank. I've been eating normal food this whole time." To prove it, I pulled a stick of beef jerky out of my pocket. I'd stashed it there for dramatic effect, and took a big bite. I was expecting them to crack up, maybe call me an asshole, but admit it was a good one. Instead, they just stared. Jake was the first to speak. "You're saying you lied to us for 3 weeks? For a joke?" Sarah stood up and said, "That's it. I'm done." She grabbed her bag and left without another word. The others started laying into me. Tara said I'd wasted their time and made them worry for nothing. Mia called me immature, and Ryan said I'd crossed the line by messing with their emotions. Alex just shook his head and said, "Not cool, man." I tried to explain that it was just a prank, that I didn't think they'd take it this seriously, but they weren't having it. Jake told me to leave, so I did. The next day, Sarah texted me saying we were over. She said she was humiliated at the restaurant and felt like I didn't respect her or our relationship by dragging her into my dumb joke. She also said she couldn't trust me anymore because I'd lied so convincingly for weeks. I tried to call her, but she blocked me. The group chat's been dead silent since, and when I texted Jake to check in, he just said, "Give us some space." I even saw a vague post on X from Mia about people who think pranks are more important than friendships, which ouch. I'm honestly kind of shocked. I thought my commitment to the prank was what made it funny. I mean, I went all in, carrying apples everywhere, shaving candy off candy apples, the whole 9 yards. I didn't think they'd get this mad, especially since no one got hurt. I figured they'd be annoyed for a day, then laugh about it. But now I'm single, my friends aren't talking to me, and I'm wondering if I misjudged the whole thing. On one hand, I get that they were worried, and maybe the restaurant thing with Sarah was a bit much. I didn't mean to embarrass her, I just thought it'd be funny to see how far I could take it. And yeah, maybe 3 weeks was a little long, but that's what made it epic, right? On the other hand, they're acting like I betrayed their trust or something, which feels over the top. It was just a prank, not a war crime. I even ate the damn apples to sell it. Do they know how sick I am of apples now? So, Reddit, aita for pulling this Appletarian prank? Should I have stopped sooner? Were they overreacting? I'm thinking of apologizing, but I also kind of feel like they should appreciate the effort I put into it. What do you think?